all the polarity that exists within you, the duality that exists in you. When you know yourself intimately in that manner, you know all. You know God. You know that you are. You know that I am. And in that, it connects you with this field that he alluded to. Now, what that field is called in science, remember earlier I mentioned Western thought takes everything that was a mystical teaching or a spiritual teaching in antiquity and takes that over into the academia of modern day science, right? And gives it names. So I'm going to use some of those names since we're in a Western society right now and we're disconnected from how our ancestors thought and saw the world. So that field he was talking about is called, let's write it right here, morphogenetic field. Morphogenetic field. All right? This morphogenetic field is what they understand is the signal that connects literally every single cell and molecule in existence. It's the morphogenic field that tells a leg to be a leg, right? That tells a kidney to form this way and have this function. It's the morphogenic field is the reason why your nose looks like that, but my nose looks like this. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We have a different ancestral line, you know, that connects somewhere down the line, but it ain't for a while, you know. So somebody in your family, in your ancestral line, got that nose too, got that way your eyes are this way, or your eyes are this way, or the way your mouth is, right? Through that morphogenic field, that's how you came to be formed, right? Your negative and your positive polarity, which is your own personal electromagnetic field, connects to this. And when you connect to this is when you realize that you are the creator of your reality. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, putting some brakes on that real quick. So we talked about thought and emotion, right? The power of uniting thought and emotion. So what he didn't tell you is what thought is and what emotion is. Thought is the positive polarity of your mind, of your body, right? Emotion is the negative polarity of your body, of your mind, right? Now, like we discussed earlier, negative and positive isn't to be understood as you know, we would commonly understand it, you know. Be positive, ha ha ha. Negative, yeah, right? That was a trick for the New Age movement, right? To get everybody focused on positivity, positive, and walk around here unbalanced because they're ignoring this. You cannot complete a circuit unless you have both positive and negative, right? Eventually, that energy that's traveling through that positive polarity or that positive charge is going to be dispersed somewhere. It's going to fizzle out eventually, right? Or somebody else who's balanced and knows who they are, they're going to take that energy and they're going to circulate it within themselves and charge up their own power to have dominion over you. Does that make sense?
Okay, say that again. So a person who's aware of who they are, mm-hmm. This person can take their energy and control you?
They could. They could do it. It's happening.
Because you don't know who you are.
Exactly. You don't know who you are. You're giving me all your positive energy. I'm taking it from you. And I'm using it for my own means. Right? All of these, for example, a church, to get everybody riled up in positive energy, right. And then it's siphoned off of you. It's taken from you. And it's recirculated amongst those who understand, and they use it to build up their reality while yours just continues to suck. You know? Right? For example, yesterday I was listening to the radio, right? And I heard 2 news stories. The first one was a father had been shot by the police, right? He had pulled out a gun, and the police shot him, right? And the woman and the children's mother was, you know, telling the news reporter, like, my child is asking, you know, when their father is coming home, you know, how do you do that? How do you live with that? You know, that's a very, very, very tough thing to listen to. You know, it's hard. It brings you down, like, you know, like that fear and that hopelessness kind of settles in, like, man, this world is crazy. You never know, right? The next story after that was about, I think it was a father or a mother took the life of their own child, right? So 2 stories back to back are just bringing you just like, man, this world is crazy. Literally right after that story, with no segue, with no like
pause,
no pause or anything, was the Seahawks are gonna play the Cowboys, you know, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So subconsciously, what is being received, this is what negative is, right? It's the receiver, right? What is being received is my happiness, my hopefulness, my joy is to be associated with this sporting event that's coming up tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So all week you have people looking forward to this distraction, to distract them from this, this hopelessness and this darkness that they painted the world to be. You understand what I'm saying? And then associated with that is a symbol, an emblem. Then you got your athletes and all this and the whole pageantry. It's like a religion, basically. It's like a religion that you need in order to distract you from this stuff that's happening out here. You know, and your conscious mind doesn't recognize that that's even taking place. It's just a news story that's just taking place. Your subconscious mind understands that. And so you're not going to miss that game tomorrow. You're like, man, I need to watch that game. You know, it's crazy out here. We need something, man. Seahawks, come on, win. You know, let's go. Woo, woo, woo. You know? So they're using this against you and you're unaware of it. Right? This is what's happening. So that's an example of how what I said, when you're not aware of it, someone else can take control of that and use it to control you.
Like R. Kelly.
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that guy. But you see, if they can use it against you, you're bumping up the ratings, right? So the advertisers get the exposure they need, right? You know, so all these messages and all these logos and ads are in front of you and your family's face. So, and now you don't know why all of a sudden you need this this new phone or this new whatever the heck it is, you know, or you need to sign up for this new service, or why you even think it's important to go to the store and buy this product, right? Because the ads were there, it was just constantly just blasting you know, and they need that. The football game is all about ads. It's all about advertising, you know. So to make it go as long as possible, they can play as many ads as they can. They try to get them in there. Every time the camera stops, there's an ad. Whether it's 10 seconds or 20 seconds, they need to throw them in there because that's how they sell. That's how they sell the game. So they're using it against you is my point. So back to this. Thought and emotion being the positive, emotion being the negative, right? Not in the sense that we would commonly understand as one being, you know, like, the other one being, you know.
Right.
But thought being the giver, the will, the conscious mind, and emotion being the receiver, the subconscious mind, right? Which is also the male or the masculine, and the female or the feminine, right? The female is the receiver, the male is the giver, right? And here in this physical realm, that's represented by our bodies. Right?
Right.
Right. And when you unite those two, the positive and the negative, what happens? Life.
Life.
So when you do that internally, what do you think will happen?
Life.
Life. You will be born
Born again.
again.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Now that makes sense.
Now it makes sense, right?
Man.
The light and the dark. Right? These exist on two opposite sides of the poles, right? Polarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't call something light unless you can call something dark. You can't call something dark unless you can call something light. But you need them both, don't you? You need them both. You need the sun and you need the moon. Right? The light is the heart of the darkness. Right? In order to bring complete balance within yourself, you have to unite all of that. That is that oneness that he was talking about. That is what Christ is. That oneness. When you bring yourself into this oneness, into this complete balance, it connects you to the morphogenic field, right? Or connects you to the all, connects you to God, connects you to that life force that created and formed everything that you see, including yourself, including your children, your mother, your father, animals, all of that. Everything was formed within this morphogenic field. When you unite these two, you connect to that. All the information, all the data, that consciousness, that energy is now yours, and you are it. I am you and you are me. We're part of the same field. You understand what I'm saying? He talked about a language that this field speaks, right? So you understand.
Well, can I, before you go?
Go ahead.
Because I've been with him all this whole time, right?
Go ahead.
And just a little, I'm probably feeling where their mind is because I've been here, right? And we're good. I want to just talk about the laws of
Okay, not too much.
the Hermetic laws, not all of them. Say what they are, or not what it is, and then just go straight to polarity, and So I have that right. I already pulled it up, so that way you can get back to this, so they can better, as you keep explaining, understand where we're coming from with it, because that's where, So, have anybody heard of the Hermetic principles?
Hermetic.
Okay, so you have to go and do your research, look them up. Okay, just look it up, right? But here's I'm quick on it, all right? Yeah, you can find them in a book called the Kabbalion, right?
Kabbalion.
Kabbalion. So, Hermetic means secret, right? Esoteric, it refers to knowledge that's in correspondence with the conduct of the universe. Someone who understands these laws is wise and can use them to master all of the three planes of existence. In an everyday setting, these principles can help you come to terms with some of the fundamental aspects of the world and apply aspects of the world and apply that to your life, right? Understand the world and be able to apply it to your life. The one that he's talking about right now was talking about polarity, right? And here is about polarity, the principle of polarity. Everything has its pair of opposites. Obviously, he's explaining that, right?
Right.
Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Polarity means that the extreme opposites are actually the different degrees of the same thing. Take temperature, for example. Heat and cold aren't distinct entities or phenomenon, but the same thing. Their only difference lies in the matter of the degrees. This same principle can be found in the mental plane. Love and hate, fear and courage, greed and compassion are all but the varying degrees of the same one thing. The difference between them gets determined by the law of vibration. Some emotions vibrate at a higher level, whereas others on a lower level. That's the difference.
That makes sense.
All right, and he's back on it. So now, hopefully, as he keeps going, you guys can understand where he's coming from with this. All right.
You know, what was the name of that again? The
Hermetic.
7 principles of
The 7 hermetic laws.
the 7 hermetic laws or principles.
7 hermetic principles. Yeah. And that's in the Kabbalah. Yeah. If you guys want that video after that too.
Yes, please do.
The Travel Crash website is going to be back up soon. On that website, I actually there's a page where it's just a bunch of free books, and that's one of the books on there. And so is the Nagamani Library, so you can download from there too. As soon as that's back up. Is that gas?
Yeah, it's the gas was on. It's good.
Okay. So polarity. So he's talking about polarity, right? And we understand polarity. We understand this, right? Imagine these two pillars with these big old. Maybe you all seen the mad scientists in the old cartoons, right?
Right.
And then this big in between the two, right? That's because you got a positive and a negative. That's how the charge is able to travel, right? Your subconscious and your conscious mind cannot communicate if these two poles are not balanced, right? If this one is broken, the connection is broken. There's no clear communication between the masculine and the feminine parts of your mind. Yeah, basically.
I thought I brought it. It's over here on the
Oh.
right there.
So what you read there in the hermetic the hermetic principle of polarity is a fact. These hermetic principles are the underlying truths under everything else, right? These are things you cannot get away from. Duality. There's duality in everything. Like you read, like hot, cold, up, down, left, right,
Happy, sad.
male, female, light, dark.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. It's in everything. That duality.
Degrees of separation. That makes
So what that looks like, if you were to draw it, is here is what would be called equilibrium. And then over here would be the polarities. So for example, hot, cold. Or what are they? Different degrees of what? Heat.
Temperature.
Temperature, right? So they're the same thing. Temperature, I don't know if it's what. They're the same thing. If we change these to something else, and you'll see something more about how our world is actually set up right now, or at least this society. Left and right. You ever heard the expression, the Democrats and the Republics are
Left wing,
wings on
right
the same
wing.
bird, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. That's what they're talking about. So if they can polarize you to one side or another, right, because they created both polarities, right, left and right, Democrat, Republic, then now they can control the narrative from here. They
So
don't.
if you think you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you're really the same thing. Because they control the narrative.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter, right?
That's why voting is like this.
Have fun.
They're already chosen.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Right. So they
Wow.
keep you away from this equilibrium, right? This non-polarized standpoint of just seeing it as it is. They keep you on one pole or another, and then use the media to keep you polarized to one side or another.
Or swing you to the other.
Right.
Right.
Just keep you swaying back and forth. That's the principle of polarity in action every day, all around you. That's one prime example that we can use. That right there. They understand that, and it's used against you. And when they get you all riled up about the politics and any elections and stuff,
Or a little black kid getting shot.
all of that energy that's being brought up is being siphoned off. It's being siphoned off. you're like a battery now, you know? Like how they show you in the Matrix, they had all the people plugged into the machines, and the machines was used, the aliens was using them as batteries.
I gotta watch that again because
Watch
I
it
never
again.
understood it.
Because the one thing I'm about to show you is this picture here, which you probably see me on when I was doing a Facebook Live video.
Right.
This picture here is your electromagnetic field. It's your positive and negative polarity in action, flowing in balance. In the Matrix, when Neo gets shot a heck of times, and then he gets back up, and then he goes like this, and he flexes, and everything around him bends. That's because he was one with everything around him. So as he moved, it moved.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying? He can manipulate reality because he was reality. He was one with it. That's what it was showing. This is why.
We are one with everything. Wow.
This is why the people, if you read in the Bible, the people were tripping over Jesus being able to command an unclean spirit. He was able to command both good and evil because he was here and here.
Balance.
He was completely balanced. He was one with all of it because it's all the same. It's just
Makes
different
sense.
degrees of polarity. And they were astonished, like, what the heck? He must have a devil. He was like, a house divided cannot stand.
Right.
If you're divided, you can't not stand. If you're not one,
With yourself.
you're imbalanced. You have no foundation. An imbalanced person is just willing, easily tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. Easily.
Right.
That's why I said don't be a drunkard.
Be sober-minded. Right?
Right.
So, with that there, you've all heard of something called chakras.
Chakras, yeah.
Yeah? Y'all heard of that before, yeah?
Yes.
Now that's just like anything, the word chakra is more well known. That's what we most know this particular thing I'm about to talk to as. It's more publicized, from Eastern medicine. That whole system was built around medicine. It was a system of medicine, and they used these terms, and they used symbols, and they used a mystic way of bringing it about to not only protect the knowledge, but to deliver it to people who were, common people, illiterate, just your common people. This is how we got to give it to you, because if we give it to you like this, you won't understand it.
Right.
So they use symbols, they use pictures, they use words that denote something else. And this is an example of how we're able to interpret the Bible in another way. This is how it always was done. So this is going to talk about the science behind chakras, right? And I'm just going to read it.
Here, want me to? Or you did?
Yeah, I'm good. So what are the chakras? Chakras were first described in the Hindu scriptures thousands of years ago, and literally means wheels of energy. Right? That's what chakra means. It means wheels of energy. They predominantly deal with energy flow in the body and are said to be focused areas or vortices of high expansive energy within multiple locations in the body. There are thought to be 114 chakras within the body in total, but 7 main chakras spanning from the base of the spine to the crown of the head, from the base to the crown, and are considered to follow the curvature of the spine. Connected to these chakras, there are said to be nadis, which literally translate to rivers in Sanskrit. So what those rivers are, and it's going to say it in this anyway, but I'm going to show you a picture of it. Y'all saw the nervous system before?
Mm-hmm.
Those are those rivers. Right? The rivers of which that energy flows, right? That's why they call a river a current, right? A current.
Keeps moving.
A current of energy.
Electrical current.
Like an electrical current, right? Through your nervous system, right? Through your nervous system.
And water flows through electricity flows through a river or water.
Right, it's conducted.
Right.
These nadis or rivers are considered to be the vessels through which energy flows from the chakras to the rest of the body. Everything is energy. This is a widely accepted theory in quantum physics and a scientifically proven fact. In religion and spirituality, the movement of energy is the central and fundamental core around which many traditions are based. Ancient traditions such as Reiki, Qigong, and Tai Chi focus on the manipulation of energy to achieve well-being. I don't know if you ever heard of any of those
Yeah,
things.
I've done Tai Chi.
You done Tai Chi?
And I've had Reiki done over me.
How's that
Massage
feel?
therapy. It's what can I say? I felt different. I felt lighter,
Mhm.
but I was so used to somebody manipulating my tissue as opposed to the energy
Mhm.
type thing. It was very subtle,
Right.
but I felt lighter.
It's funny you say that.
I can't even explain it any different than that.
So that energy is known as the subtle body. It's your body.
Yeah,
In the
it was
form of
it was
energy.
some kind of change, but it was so subtle because I did a lot of different modalities in massage school. So yeah, I've experienced that.
So Reiki, Qigong, and Tai Chi. If you know about Qigong, you can look it up on
I
YouTube
don't know
right
what
now.
that is.
You see people using Qi, right? Lighting things on fire without touching it, right?
Oh.
They're using this inner Qi
Mhm.
to heat something up to the point of combustion. The Shaolin monks and stuff like that, they do that. You ever seen that before?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, you gotta check that out.
Or Mr. Miyagi,
Mr. Miyagi, yeah.
trying to get how he held him at the end there. He
That was really key what he was doing.
Me and Nello.
Everything connects by way of magnetic energy and is electrical energy. We like to think of space of empty and matter as solid, but in fact there is nothing to matter when you look at it at a subatomic level. Most of what is contained within an atom, for example, is 99.9% space. It is mostly unsubstantial. So what connects it together and tells it where it needs to be is this. All matter is held together by way of energetic bonds and consists of these atoms, of which most is space. The movement of energy is vital to life. When we think, breathe, function, or even when we are resting, electrical energy is flowing through our bodies by way of our neurons and nerve pathways. The position of major chakras correspond to the major nerve plexus or nerve bundles. Remember, a lot of these ancient traditions came from a primitive understanding of biology, and therefore a degree of flexibility is necessary when trying to understand the significance of their teachings. By far the energetic process within our bodies are caused by our nerve tissue and specifically our nervous system. The nervous system is that part of our body that coordinates the voluntary and involuntary actions and transmits signals to and from different paths of the body and brain, the communication of the body. So the nervous system is composed of two main parts. It's composed of two main parts, and that would be the CNS
The central nervous system,
and the PNS,
the peripheral.
the peripheral nervous system, right? The CNS and the PNS. So the CNS, the central nervous system, is your brain and this spinal column right here. That's your central nervous system, right? And that includes the vagus nerve, which winds up this, which is protected by the spinal cord.
Mm-hmm.
It winds up three times and comes back down 3 times. And they used a serpent to depict this, right? The Kundalini serpent, right?
Mhm.
And the energy that flows through this serpent is known as the Kundalini energy, right? It's nothing but the natural energy and life force that is present in your body right now,
Right.
right? Going up, that's the positive. Coming down is the negative, and it's supposed to flow. It's supposed to flow. Sometimes we get stuck with it down here, and it's not coming back up here. Sometimes it gets stuck up here, and it doesn't come back down here, right? You have people who are spaced out too much, just in the clouds, you know, just everything is spiritual, you know, and they lose touch with reality because they're too much here, right? Then you have people who are just super carnal and just in just everything's physical, nothing's
Sex,
outside of
sex.
that, you know,
Yeah.
sex, money, blah, 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 you know. They're too much here, and there's a lot of fear there, a lot of greed and selfishness and all that stuff there. You know, here you start forgetting to pay your bills, you start forgetting to go to work, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
la
Like,
la.
yeah,
Yeah.
la, nothing matters. You know,
Right.
you forget to eat, brush your teeth,
Right.
you know. So that's the central nervous system, the brain, and your spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system, just like with a computer, everything that plugs into your computer is known as a what? A peripheral, right? So that'd be the nerves that go out into your arms, your fingers, your legs, to your certain organs and things like that. All right, so that'd be your peripheral nervous system.
Dreamer.
So it's the peripheral nervous system which connects the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body by way of the little river-like nerves. The system, this system is what correlates with the chakras. So the chakras, or those energy centers, are part of the peripheral nervous system. And these are all associated with 7 major glands in your body. 7 major glands in your body. There are different categories of nerve bundles within the PNS, but the most relevant to the chakras is the automatic nervous system of the PNS. This deals with the involuntary or automatic responses within the body. For example, digestion, our heart rate, sneezing, swallowing, and breathing. All these processes are regulated by the hypothalamus. So, within the peripheral nervous system, you have a system there called
The involuntary nervous system.
Yes. There are 2 main divisions within the PNS. The somatic nervous system, which controls the muscles responsible for conscious or willed movement